Din 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 dan ya din din din.
Hi, I'm Gimby from the School of Historical Fencing, and in this video I'm going to be showing you Capoferro Kata, which is a footwork form that I developed many years ago to practice the fundamental actions with the rapier in an early 17th century Italian style. It specifically relates to Capoferro's book, but it's useful for anyone practicing rapier, I think, and it's also relevant for people doing things like saber or other systems that have a similar footwork pattern to rapier. So the form can be done just as a footwork exercise, so just a nice footwork pattern to practice the mechanical actions. It can be done with a sword in your hand as an aide-memoire or a memorization tool for all of those fundamental actions, which I'm going to break down as we go. And it can also be done with a partner as a pair form. So it's very useful, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, the form itself looks like this. So you can see you go from right-handed to left-handed and back, and it's worth practicing with both ways so that you develop both sides of your body equally. I'll show you that from the front. So just a note about the blade actions, you can actually do them in two different ways in most places because you're either engaged on the outside of the sword or on the inside, but when you're doing it as a footwork form, that doesn't matter. So as a footwork form, this is what it looks like. And so on. So I'll show you that from the front. So now let's take a look at that first chunk of the form. The first chunk is advance, advance, lunge, and recover. So this is used in plate 7 and also in plate 15. And the idea is just to gain your opponent's sword and move forwards, and when you have the opportunity, strike them with a lunge. So I'm taking control of my opponent's sword, striking them with my lunge, and recovering after my strike. Taking control of my opponent's sword, striking, and recovering. Taking control, striking, and recovering. Now we're going to have a look at the second chunk. So this relates to plate 8 from Capoferro, and it's what you do when someone attacks you on the lower leg. The answer is you take the leg away, and then you come forwards. So if I do this with the blade in hand, sword in hand, someone attacks my lower leg, I take the leg away and I stab them in the face. You can do this bringing your feet together in Giganti or with a full pass as in Capoferro. Typically, you wouldn't practice this bit on its own, you'd combine it with one of the other chunks. A really important point when you're practicing this, you need to have a little bit of space between the heels feet so that this foot, your sword foot, can go directly back without having to do any turning or other motion. If you're finding that you're having a lot of trouble forming a stance that lets you do that, you can also make this step just a little bit sideways to give yourself space. So a bit more like this. This is also a great place to practice the stramazzone because Capoferro says that we can stab them in the face, but we can also choose to instead, when they go for our leg, cut them in the arm. And I kind of enjoy that, it's kind of fun. So the third chunk relates to some of the theory stuff from the start of the book, specifically the cavazione and contracavazione in the practice section, as well as recovering after striking. So, we're going to retreat, typically with a disengage, lunge, and then recover with 2 passes back. So again, typically with a disengage, on the retreat, disengage, lunge into the opening, recover with 2 passes back. I'll show you that from the front. And with the left hand. So the 5th chunk relates to plate 18, which is simply passing with the other foot. The key point about this pass is that the passing foot needs to keep its original turn. So, as I execute the pass, the turn of that foot stays the same. So I'll show you the action now. And just to make it flow, and because it's a good way to chase someone down if you've already executed the lunge, I'm going to lunge, and then pass, and then recover forwards. So the action is lunge, pass, recover forwards with a pass. Lunge, pass, pass. Show you that from the front. Lunge, pass, pass. So this last chunk, typically you wouldn't do on its own, you'd always combine it with something else, but in terms of its relationship to the text, you want to be looking at plates 9 and plate 13. So plate 9 and plate 13 relate to this action. And all it is a pass forwards where I'm bringing my left hand into play. So I'm here and I want to bring the left hand into play, I'm going to turn the hips, let my foot point and bring my left hand in. So I'm coming in and making a grip. So without the sword, if we just look at the feet, turning the hips and landing with my other side forwards. And from there, I'll typically recover back, and now I'm imagining that I've got my sword in my left hand. So again, sword in hand, do the action, change hands, I'm ready to go again from the start. Turn to the hips with a grip, change hands, back into guard, ready to go again. So now that we know roughly what all of the different actions are and what they're for and kind of how they work, now we need to learn the form. And the best way to learn the form is to combine those different little chunks into something that you can continuously practice. So for example, we could do the first chunk and the second chunk and just string those together. And that would look like this. And then we could combine the second chunk and the third chunk. Then you can combine the third chunk and the fourth chunk. That one's quite nice because you get to stay in roughly the same place. Finally, you can combine fourth and fifth. And I'll show you that from a little bit further along because it's nice stringing in the change of hand with that one. So from here, I'm left-handed. I'm right-handed. After stringing 2 chunks together, you can string 3 chunks together. So 1, 2, and 3, for example. And then so on and so on until you've combined every single different chunk. Then you can combine the whole thing into a form, and you can do the form on its own solo or with a sword in your hand, thinking about the actions as you do them, or even with a partner if you've got one. So I've just shown you the entirety of Capoferro Kata with a variety of exercises to develop the complexity and learn the form, as well as a little bit about the applications of each individual chunk in the form. I encourage you to practice this regularly and make sure to keep practicing both right and left-handed. Obviously I've demonstrated mostly right-handed as a right-hander, but if I was using this to practice, I would use the left-handed equally. I hope you find it useful. Please like and subscribe. Well, just thanks for watching. Go try.